Hey Christina, I really enjoyed reading your response. One of the first things that stood out to me was how honestly you described what motivation actually feels like in everyday life. You didn't just define intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. You explained what happens when your motivation changes. Your energy drops, frustration increases, and distractions become more tempting. I think that shows a lot of self-awareness. Your example of walking your dogs was especially strong. Even though the walk has practical benefits like giving them exercise and preventing accidents in the house, the main reward seems to be built into the activity itself. You enjoy spending time with them, watching them explore, and seeing them have fun. That's a great example of intrinsic motivation because the experience itself is rewarding to you. It also gives you connection and a sense of purpose. Your example about doing the dishes was thoughtful too. I agree that it involves extrinsic motivation because you're working toward an outcome, the clean kitchen, the peaceful environment, and having dishes ready for your next meal. But what's interesting is that it isn't just an outside reward or somebody forcing you to do it. You personally value what that completed task gives you. So even within extrinsic motivation, there can be a difference between doing something only because we're pressured and doing it because we genuinely care about the result. I also like your musical chairs examples because it shows that motivation can change after an activity begins. The prize may have been what initially encouraged you to keep playing, but you also discovered the game was more enjoyable than you expected. Sometimes an external reward gets us through the door, and then the challenge, excitement, or playfulness of the activity helps keep us engaged. Your idea of adding upbeat music while doing the dishes is a really good starting point because you're changing the emotional experience of the chore instead of depending entirely on willpower. One way you could take that idea even further would be to add an actual game mechanic. Music makes the task more enjoyable while gamification adds something like a challenge, a point system, progress tracking, a streak, or immediate feedback. For example, you could create a 2-song dish challenge. After dinner, before you sit down, start 2 songs and see whether you can clear the sink before the second song ends. You could give yourself 1 point for starting, 1 point for clearing the sink, and a bonus point for wiping the counters. You might also track a 5-day streak or try to beat your own previous time. Since you mentioned that large group competition isn't always comfortable for you, competing against yourself might be the kind of gamification that fits you best. What impressed me most about your response is that you aren't simply labeling yourself as unmotivated. You're identifying the specific conditions that increase or decrease your motivation. That's what applied psychology is really about, understanding our behavior and then adjusting the environment so that the desired behavior becomes easier. Overall, your response was honest, relatable, and practical. You gave clear examples and your dishwashing strategy has a lot of potential. Which game element do you think would motivate you the most? Beating a timer, earning points, or building a streak?